This conference will now be recorded.
We will call to order the Public Safety, Health and Welfare Committee of February 9th, 2021, beginning at 7:01 p.m. Present are committee members Broussard, Williamson, and Limpert, as well as council members Schuman, Glassburn, Heeman, council president, mayor, directors Kopfer, Lieber, and guests. I apologize if I've missed somebody. And we're here to discuss ordinance 2021-13, which reads an ordinance amending section 139.04 entitled Division of Police of Chapter 139 of the Administrative Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Olmsted, entitled Department of Public Safety, in order to increase the amount of the petty cash fund for use by the North Olmsted Police Department. Mayor, are you going to handle this one?
Mr. Chairman, I will. So yeah, the petty cash fund is $100 right now. And that is used by secretaries, officers, dispatchers to make change for people that come in and pay parking tickets typically, or bonds. Oftentimes with $100, they have to walk over to City Hall once or twice a day, or sometimes even Giant Eagle to make change. They want to increase it to $400. It'll just lessen the amount of time people have to come back over to City Hall and make change.
Okay.
Mr.
It looks like Director Kopfer wants to add something.
Yes, if I may add, the codified ordinance had $100, but when we started researching, you think it's a simple request. They just want to increase the petty cash amount. You find that there's several ordinances from the 60s and the 70s that also have monies in the Detective Bureau and what have you. So I don't think they're actually increasing it $300, but they're consolidating all those into one, and I think they're increasing it to $50, but I can't get a confirmation on that. And I think it was 350, all of them combined, and we were adding $50 to it. But putting them all in one place and in the codified is important as well.
Okay, so I guess the only question, it doesn't seem like an unreasonable request. I guess the only question I have is, are you solid on that amount? Do you want to get it, we should get it right once instead of having to come back to it. So is 400 a good number?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I can only tell you that that's what the police chief wanted it to go to. So I think we're good.
Okay, all right. I have no further questions. I'll open it up to committee, Ms. Williamson, and then Mr. Limpert.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I do agree that was going to be my next question too, as to whether or not that should be increased to at least 500. But who oversees this, and how exactly are the reimbursements, or I guess, should I ask, is the fund replenished monthly when the receipts are submitted, or how do they work that? Is it monthly or every so many months?
They reimburse it. They request reimbursement as it gets lower for some of it. But the change I think is their big issue, is because people come to pay their parking tickets and they're constantly giving like 20s, and so I think the change was their issue. So that was the important thing to them. But they request it, and we issue a check to replenish the petty cash, and then they go cash it and put it back in their petty cash fund. We do it for Recreation, Springvale. We have one. There's a bunch of them around.
And Mr. Chair, if I may.
Of course.
Thank you. With the expenditures that I saw, it was going toward parking and meals for the prisoners, and I'm sure other expenditures for the officers and the staff. Is that enough for the month to cover, or would it be beneficial just to put it up to 5, just to be on the safe side?
Mr. Chairman, if I could, really, as Carrie had stated, it's more of a change thing. People come in with a $50 bill, next guy comes in with a $50 bill, all of a sudden you're out of change for parking tickets. So it's less of a cash issue, more of getting change. And parking tickets don't go to the mayor's court. They go, they pay them right over at the police station.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
the chief asked for 400 and it is for change. And I don't think that they do the prisoner meals as like they used to, run to here or run to there, but I think they do it differently now, and they don't keep prisoners long-term, so they don't go through it as much. So they said that the 400 and it's mostly for change that they're concerned about it.
As long as I didn't misread the ordinance, I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Limpert?
Yeah, thanks. So first off, yeah, I'm fully in favor of making sure that we have the right amount of petty cash. And the only thing I would ask is that given that you had mentioned that it's sort of a consolidation of different types of funds and maybe it'll be managed differently, that we get a copy of the petty cash policy within like 30 days of this being implemented. So we just know how this works. That would be the only thing I'd ask, but I'm fully in favor of, giving them the flexibility they need and to reduce that, administrative overhead just to make change. So thanks.
Councilman Broussard, you're on mute.
Thank you. Sorry, I was trying to avoid feedback. And all right, so at this time, I'll make a motion to approve to all of council ordinance 2021-13 and ask for a second.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Williamson. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That'll pass 3-0. I'll also mention that also present were Directors Garreau and Gallo, and the meeting will conclude at 7:08 p.m.
This conference will